2,000 crushed videos were in circulation, some selling for as much as $400 at the time that Section 48 was codified in 1999. This law was considered to be generally effective at chilling the market for crushed videos. Last month, the Supreme Court found the statute was overbroad, failed strict scrutiny, and was therefore invalid under the First Amendment. As a member of the Congressional Animal Protection Caucus, a pet owner, and a strong supporter of animal rights legislation, I believe Congress must respond purposefully and deliberatively to the Stevens decision. With United States versus Stevens, the Supreme Court left Congress very little room to regulate. We must enact a new, narrowly tailored legislation that carefully parses and responds to Chief Justice Roberts' opinion and can survive another round of judicial review. Last week, I introduced 5337, and this narrowly tailored bill is aimed at acts of extreme animal cruelty and will ban the creation, sale, and distribution of such depictions in interstate commerce. This bill targets a very narrow set of behaviors, specifically the depiction of extreme animal cruelty that appears to a particular sexual fetish by requiring that the depiction of extreme animal cruelty appeal to a prurient interest. This focuses the legislation and prevents the prohibition of hunting videos, a concern the court expressed in the Stevens opinion. Citing New York versus Ferber, the court told us that a depiction of illegal behavior is still subject to First Amendment protection unless the crime is intrinsically related to the creation of the video. The original law the court struck down failed to make this distinction and show that Congress must now go after the makers of crushed videos to prevent these horrible acts. H.R. 5337 requires any prohibited depiction of extreme animal cruelty to depict actual torture, maiming, mutilation, and subjugation of animals to other acts of extreme cruelty to be committed for the primary purpose of creating a depiction of animal cruelty. This will target and chill the market for these appalling videos and mitigate concern that a new law could be overturned in regards to surveillance cameras, advocacy videos by animal rights groups, and other such depictions unintended to perpetrate the market for these materials. Additionally, new legislation must carefully but clearly expand the scope of the exceptions clause. The Supreme Court noted that the most protected speech has very little religious, scientific, or political value, and a savings clause using an obscenity standard will not save an unconstitutional statute. New legislation should specifically eliminate the existing requirement that the depiction have serious religious, political, scientific, educational, journalistic, historical, or artistic value. The Animal Torture Prevention Act has a savings clause that requires de minimis value, not serious value, to be accepted. This important distinction allows depictions with a minimal amount of societal value to avoid penalty under the law, which would help survive strict scrutiny. Finally, while drafting legislation that follows the Stevens opinion must be an exercise in restraint to avoid overbreadth concerns, we must not miss the opportunity to crack down on depictions of extreme animal cruelty when we can do so within the bounds of the First Amendment. The original law did not address the distribution of these depictions, just the creation, sale, or possession thereof. The proliferation of broadband and file sharing over the internet increases the ability to transmit and distribute these horrific depictions for profit or otherwise in an anonymous manner. H.R. 5337 will prohibit the distribution of these depictions. I believe that H.R. 5337 responds to the concerns expressed by the court in United States versus Stevens and provides a constitutional framework to prohibit the torture of helpless animals. I hope to have the opportunity to work with the Judiciary Committee, the Subcommittee on Crime, Terrorism, and Homeland Security, and Representatives Moran, Gallegly, and Blumenauer to advance and enact legislation prohibiting crushed videos and other depictions of extreme animal cruelty. I look forward to the subcommittee panel of constitutional experts and appreciate their testimony on this very important issue. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this opportunity to testify before your committee on this very important matter.
Thank you. Mr. Gallagher.